back to Talkin Texas Forever, a Friday Night Lights podcast. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Liss.
We're discussing season 5, episode 8, titled Fracture, written by Monica Beletsky and directed by Allison Liddy Brown. Original air date, January 5th, 2011. We have reached 2011.
Which is the final year.
Exactly.
We always do that.
I know.
We make it so sad.
But it is sad. I don't know, it feels more final, like we're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah. In this episode, Coach fears he's beginning to lose his grip on the team, and Tammy worries that one of her students is being neglected. Elsewhere, Vince alienates his teammates, and Becky enters a beauty pageant. We love the beauty pageant.
I loved that whole thing, and I really
fun.
enjoyed Becky.
Okay. Do you want to start with Becky?
If that suits you as well, sure.
We can start with Becky. Last week, we started with Julie because you were fired up.
Yeah, I still need some marination.
Okay, because when we watched and Liss was saying her words and she's like, I really have to marinate my thoughts. You didn't give me specifics on that. Is the marination?
It's the Julie, the whole thing. Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with Becky.
Okay.
So Luke and Becky, they're making out and Becky can't do it. She feels awkward. She feels weird. And so she leaves. Later on at school, Luke invites her to a party and she says she can't do it because she's babysitting Stevie. And Luke says, you know what? When you're ready, let me know.
Yeah, I wasn't that happy with that answer.
I know.
I wanted Luke to be Luke and just be like, you know what? Once she got up out of the bed, I wanted him to be like, hey, it's cool.
It's okay.
We're good.
Yeah.
Let's still hang out. We don't need to go further than that right now.
I know.
That's what I needed him to say.
You were there, Luke. You know.
You were the only other person that went through that whole thing with her.
Yeah.
And now, while it's so sweet that you both still have feelings for each other, it's not going to be so perfect going into it. So I was a little disappointed.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Mindy, she's having a girls' day with her friends from the landing strip, and Becky is working on a beauty pageant. And she tells the girls, oh, she used to do these and she's won a couple. And usually you win cash prizes. And this one, you can win a Chrysler Sebring.
Whatever that is.
A convertible.
Yeah, a car.
A convertible. And so the girls were like, let's take a road trip. It's in Wichita Falls. Let's all go together, which I love this. This is just adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so she's getting her dress ready at the landing strip with the girls, and Mindy comes in and they ask, oh, is your cute boyfriend going to come to the pageant? And she's like, no, he's doing a football thing. And they press a little bit. And finally, Becky tells them, oh, I've only had sex once. It was with Luke and I got pregnant and I didn't keep the baby.
I'm so happy she actually told Mindy.
I know.
Because it seems like Mindy would be the one to be there and understand.
Yeah, right.
And I mean, she was. I guess Becky wasn't ready to tell her truth yet. And I'm glad that she did. And that the girls were like, pass is pass. Try and move on.
Right. It's really sweet. They all go to the pageant and we see them behind the scenes, getting her ready and doing her makeup. And Mindy's taking all the pictures. She grabs her face and she's like, you're so cute. I can't stand it. I love this so much. Mm-hmm. I love this so much. Becky gets second runner-up, which is really third place.
I guess. Yeah, second runner-up.
It's weird. Just say third place.
Because they're like, everybody gets a trophy.
Right. And Becky and her friends are so rowdy. They're like, boo, boo. They obviously want Becky to win. And the judge says, this is a family show.
And she's like, you need better company. Think about who you're hanging out with.
Yeah, but Becky shrugs it off. And it was sweet. I think Becky just loved them being there for her.
Yeah, I was hopeful that she didn't take that really to heart.
I don't think she did.
Yeah.
I don't think she did.
Because, honestly, besides her mom, who I don't know if her mom was always at every pageant. We know her dad wasn't.
Right.
And Tim was the only other person that had occasionally gone.
Right.
She didn't really have a support system. So I'm sure she was just like, you know what? I have the girls and they were here to support me. And it was so cute. And I loved it.
I know. I loved it too. And then back at school, we see Becky leave Luke a note. She writes it and leaves it on his windshield and says, I want to start over.
Awesome.
So cute. We love it.
Yeah.
And I said to Liss when we were watching, Don't you love Becky when Tim's not in the picture?
Absolutely.
We missed him. We say it.
You know what? In this
this version of
episode,
Becky.
I didn't miss Tim.
I didn't either.
I felt
I'm just saying in general. In general,
in Friday Night Lights, Tim Riggins is like a staple.
of course.
But in this episode, and I feel like last week, like they're doing a good job of masking the fact that he's not around. Like everyone, like Vince is getting such a big storyline, and now Becky's getting more of a storyline. Jess, I guess, is wrapped up in that.
Yeah.
And Luke. And I mean the whole thing is like Coach, right? Coach and Tammy and them helping kids and then their own kids, which is always essentially the premise of the show.
Right.
But to utilize the new characters and to fill the void of Tim not being there, I think they did a really good job.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we're just giving more to Becky and not just the annoying girl that followed Tim around like a lost puppy.
Absolutely. And I'm so happy, I know we'll get to it, to see Matt. And last week we saw Jason. Like it just feels so good to see
sprinkling it in.
Yeah, everyone coming together, especially because it's just the last season and we only have a few more weeks left, and it would feel sad not to see all these people.
Yeah.
Again. So I'm happy with the way everything's going.
Okay, good. In school, we see Epic and Mora get into a fight in the hallway.
Random.
So random.
We
Like
haven't
not for
seen
Epic,
her in a while.
But
Mora.
for Mora to be there, she's just like the troublemaker of the school. So she gets pulled into Tammy's office. And even though Epic is doing better, she shouldn't be fighting. And while this is all happening, she clocks a sandwich on Tammy's desk and asks, like, hey, can I have that? So at first we're like, okay, you're hungry. Right. And then later on,
she did this from the beginning.
Right. And so then Tammy catches Epic fighting outside with a bunch of boys. And Tammy's like, get in this car right now. And she gets in the car and she's like, hey, can I have those chips? And Tammy's like, why are you always hungry? Like they should be feeding you in foster care. And so Tammy takes her out. They get food. They talk a little bit. And she's like, what's going on at home? So we know she's in foster care. Epic says that it's not great. There's boys in the home that she's fighting with, but don't call social services. I don't want to get in trouble. And if I get in trouble, they'll move me and then I won't be able to see you.
Yeah, she got her wrapped around her little finger there. She really played her.
Yeah.
She played us.
She played us. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I was surprised.
Right. And so Tammy goes to visit Epic's foster mom. And at first you walk in and you're like, I don't know, is this woman lying? Because the house seems very calm. There's 3 young kids. Lunch is being served. And the foster mom says, like, this is the first time that Epic has lied. She's had a rough time, though. Both parents died from AIDS. She was out on the streets. And Tammy's just observing all of this. And she's like, oh, are there any older boys that live in the house? And she's like, no, it's just these kids. And everything looks very sweet. But the foster mom seems like she's good people.
Yeah, it seems like it's a good situation.
No. And so then we see Tammy go to what Liss and I came to the conclusion, probably a Chinese restaurant.
A Chinese buffet, back in the day.
Yeah. And so Epic's there. She's having a meal and Tammy questions her, like, why did you lie? And you don't need to do that. And she's like, oh, yeah, my foster mom told me that you came to visit. And Tammy's like, listen, like, I'm not going anywhere. I believe in you. You don't have to be afraid to ask for help. Everybody needs help, and you have me.
Yeah, and Epic's like, great that you believe in me. But basically, like, I'm forgotten. Like, it's lost on me.
I'm me. I'm probably not going to change. Yeah.
So, like, don't waste your time. But, like, thanks for thinking about it.
Like, there was, like, a slight smile when...
Yeah, I think she's happy someone's taking interest in her. But it seems, I don't know, is her foster mom so big? To me, it seemed like she was nurturing. But we don't know her, obviously. And she's got 3 other kids in the house that she has to take care of.
Young kids.
Very young. So maybe, I don't know, the attention gets...
Right.
Not to her.
Right. Yeah. Vince has his first TV interview.
Yeah, I hate this whole storyline. I hate it. I know we have to do it, but I really don't want to.
We do have to do it. The whole family is gathering to watch, including Jess. And they're all very excited. But when we see it, Vince, obviously, he handles the interview well, but it's mostly like me. This is what I'm doing for the team. No real mention of his teammates, which his whole family's really excited. But Jess clocks this and is like, Yeah, it was great, but like, you know.
He got a bad edit, you know.
Right. And Ornette says, don't worry about it. Like, you're a star.
Mm-hmm. And Jess is like, his head's going to blow up.
Right. And so this obviously leads to tension within the team. They're like making jokes. They're mocking the interview out on the field. Like everybody's fighting. Even there's like fighting between the coaches.
Yeah. Crowley and Billy.
Yes.
Butting heads a lot.
Yeah. Vince skips practice to go on this unofficial tour to Oklahoma Tech.
Yeah.
Led by his dad.
Obviously.
Coach questions Jess over this, and she doesn't know because Vince didn't even tell her, but it looks like she's covering for him because she says, oh, I think he's homesick. I called his house. No one answered.
To me, that doesn't sound like an excuse.
I know.
The way Coach looked at her, he's like, are you sure about that?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And so it's really weird. And maybe our listeners will write in about this. Mike, our patron's joining us, so maybe he will, or maybe you can as we discuss this. But Vince goes on this unofficial tour, and it's not by what I got. It's not from anyone directly from the college.
It's very confusing. He has a business. He's a business owner. He's an alumni, but yet he's also a recruiter. Like it makes zero sense to me.
Yeah, he's not like an official rep.
Not at all.
Right. And so
it's fishy.
It's so fishy. And I think, well, I mean, that's the point, right? It is extremely fishy. And so we see them go on this tour. There's two young women that are like on Vince's arms. Ugh. Like, oh, here's our unofficial tour guides.
The eye candy,
trophies. Right? And so we see, we don't even like tour any classrooms or anything, which I guess you wouldn't. You were gonna like tour the fields and the.
No, we've seen all the cool pools and hot tubs and
rock climbing wall,
all the cool things, fun things.
Like let's dangle the sparkle and in front of your eyes, right? And so they get on the field, and the coach comes out, and this guy, I didn't even catch his name. This man says, "Oh, just stand here and listen." And so he has this conversation with the coach, and coach is like, "Oh yeah, so we're really interested in Vince Howard and this other guy." And whoever gives us a verbal first. So if you hear from his dad or Vince, that's who we're going to go with. It's so manipulative.
And it's so weird.
And it means nothing because this is all unofficial.
You
didn't talk to the coach.
And that guy also got a phone call.
Yeah.
Which I thought was weird. He was
I know that was weird.
Okay. Like it just seemed suspicious too. Maybe it was the coach. The coach was like, "Hey, I'm coming out there. Do you have Vince ready?"
Right. Like let's have this planned out.
Yeah, I don't know. It was weird.
And so Vince goes back home and he tells Jess, and he's like all beamed up, like, "Oh my God, you wouldn't believe this. Like they want me, and you wouldn't believe this locker room." And Jess is like, one, she's not having it. She's not impressed. Two, I can't believe you lied to me. And if it's not a big deal, why are you lying?
Right. Like he could have told her to begin with.
Right.
Now he's telling her after the fact. So if he wanted her to keep the secret, was afraid she was going to tell anyone, why are you still telling her after it? Because it could still get out.
Right. And she's pissed because she's like, you missed practice.
And I got grilled.
Interrogated me. Yeah. And so then at school, when coach questions Vince, like, how are you feeling? Vince lies to his face and says, oh, it wasn't me. It was my mom.
He could have literally said anything else.
This like
this is so bad.
Is so bad because
his dad's rubbing off on him.
That's right. And we've gotten so far, and Ornette is just like, and I get it. Like Ornette wants the best for his son, but he's just interfering.
But he's doing it the wrong way. He's doing it the shady way. Everything's shady. Everything's a lie. Everything's hidden.
It's so bad. It's so bad. So then coach calls Vince into his office.
This was so good. I'm so happy that it came out.
It's so good. And he's like, hey, how's your mom? And Vince is like, oh, she's good. And he's like, oh yeah, let me question you on this picture. And he swings his computer screen around, and we see a picture of Vince and his dad on Oklahoma Tech field. And coach is like, you lied to me. Your dad's leading you down the wrong path.
Honestly, if I was coach, I'd been like, you can't play in next week's game or something. Because
keep that thought.
Yeah. Because don't lie to me.
Don't lie. And so before pep rally, pregame,
whatever this pregame thing is
that the school is having for the Lions, because at this point they're undefeated.
Yeah.
Coach talks with Ornette and tells him, like, listen, no one is special over the other on this team. If he misses another practice, I will bench him. And so then Ornette's like, really, you're all about this team? I know Shane State has been calling you, is very interested in you. Which, like, how do you know that, Ornette?
How do you know that? Because he probably is like befriending all these people who are calling about Vince, and they're like, well, let me tell you about Coach Taylor.
That's
I'm sure like the colleges probably talk, right?
And also maybe who he's talking to. Like this guy.
He's talking to the right people about the shady things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like not the right people to help Vince, but like the right people to get the shady stuff under the table stuff.
That's right.
So of course these people would be telling him, yeah, and guess what? Coach is going to go to this university.
Right. Yeah. We also have to mention that BJ got a hairline fracture from doing a Samoan war dance that Billy was leading.
Like, I was perplexed. It was cute to watch, actually.
It was cute,
funny.
but the actor actually got a hairline fracture
by doing this.
Yes. Well, or I don't know if it was by doing this, but actually in like on the field
on set.
Yeah, and so they wrote it in.
Well, that's yeah. I like when they do that because obviously you can't like fake having crutches.
And he was Jeff felt so bad because he's like, I'm new to this set, I'm new to this story, right? New to the season, and here I am. I get this fracture. And they wrote it in and they were champs about it. So
yeah, I thought it was great. And at first you think Buddy's gonna be like douchey. He's like, oh come on. You just like making him feel so bad about it.
Yeah.
And then BJ's like, Dad, I get it.
I know.
And Buddy's like sees, he's like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, I shouldn't make you feel bad. So I was like, good one, Buddy, for actually like trying to nurture your kid when he's hurt.
Yeah. Kate, she wrote in and she goes, what was the point of Buddy's Junior's hairline fracture? I pretty much forgot about it until the end when we showed him with his crutches.
Yeah.
Is this going somewhere? Do we care? Well, there you go, Kate.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, we care about Buddy Jr.
Sure. But it's true. Like, this didn't really do anything. We just had to show, like, why is he on crutches all of a sudden?
We could have just like had it where we opened and they're like, yeah, Buddy Jr.'s on crutches. Like, we didn't have to go a whole storyline. But whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so Julie, are you ready?
I guess. It's hard to think about it when I'm talking about the other things, but maybe once you start summarizing, I will feel it inside. So, keep hitting it. It's so close to my hands today because I have the pillow on my lap.
Yeah, I know it does.
It cups it.
I know it elevates you. Derek shows up to the Taylors while they're putting together, it seems like this cute little tricycle for Gracie golf.
Family time.
They're having family time. Derek shows up. Julie answers the door and she's like, what are you doing here? And then he goes, oh, is your dad here?
Oh, your dad's home? I'm like, where the else would he be? He lives there. She's 18. She lives at home.
Dude. And so Eric, chases him out. Goes, you better get in your car.
I'm glad.
Bangs on his car with like the tricycle handle.
He smashes his taillight. Yes, coach.
Lisa says, I can't believe Derek had the audacity to show up at Julie's house. What the hell, dude? She's 18 years old. I'm shocked coach was able to hold back as much as he did. My dad would have decked him in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He kept it together.
I mean, Tammy was like, Eric.
Yeah, she was like, don't do anything. Please don't murder this guy in front of on our lawn. It's not going to end well. And this whole time I keep thinking to myself, does Julie miss him? Does she still care about him? Is she just so embarrassed and devastated from the situation? I'm going towards the latter. I honestly don't feel like he seems to be the one who's like, this was like everything. I'm like, I'm sorry. Was I watching the same thing that you were experiencing? Because there was nothing there.
It's pretty gross. He goes to Tammy at school
again.
And he tells her, I quit. I resigned.
Good.
I don't want this on my conscience. If Julie drops out of school, she needs to go back. That's where she belongs, which really bothered me. Mm-hmm. It really fucking bothered me because I've been saying it the whole time and maybe I'm being naive to it or just being
well, also, things like, where her future goes.
Yes. But we've said it like every week. Like, why does college only Burleson?
Right.
Why can't she go to another fucking college? Like, why is this the end all be all? This is what's really annoying me.
Yeah.
And so he tells Tammy, I need to talk to Julie. I think I can make it right. And so Tammy brings it up to Julie, this is your time to make the right decision.
And she made the wrong one because she goes and meets him. Anyway.
Yeah, and he tells her that he's getting a divorce and, like, "We had a
Big
connection,
fucking
didn't we?"
whoop.
I'm glad Julie spoke her mind. Like, "You embarrassed me. Did we really have a connection, or do you tell all the girls
I was
this?"
so happy she spoke that because, he just needed to hear he was trying to, like, put a Band-Aid, and it's almost as though, like and I know obviously we'll get to it, but he went there to tell her she needs to go back to school because, again, he's guilty and it's on his conscience
Mhm,
that she did not
mhm,
go back to school.
mhm, and you also bring up the point of how he said, "I'm not in love with her,"
He said, "I'm not
about
loving
his wife.
her," and, like, indicated that he meant, like, he was, like, in love with Julie when they were dating for, like, what, 5 days and slept
You're
together, like,
calling that
3
dating? They were
times?
not
They were not
dating.
dating, they had
No, they were fucking
2 dates and fucked probably twice out of the
and
2
ate fried bread.
and had fried bread and, like, had some intimate conversation, but, oh, let me tell you the intimate conversation was, "Let's talk at the same time so none of us can hear anything about what the other person is saying, and we're just getting
True.
out the feelings, and no one's even comprehending what the other person is going through."
Mhm.
And then he's like, "Oh, I'm getting a divorce." Big whoop. Great, you should get a divorce. You should quit. You should have been fired. You should quit, and you should get a divorce. And I don't love her. That's not your problem. He's like, I wanna go away so I can't be distracted by anything, meaning Julie. If you're not good,
Right.
you're very easily manipulated and distracted.
Yeah, and so he
You're
gives
pathetic.
Julie the address to the Tennessee house that he's gonna go so he can write and not be
I
distracted, and if
wanted
she
her to, like,
needs
literally
anything
burn it.
I know, if she needs anything, she can contact him. So Julie goes and tells her parents, "I'm good now. I
This
belong at
infuriated
college.
me.
I'm gonna go. Can I make breakfast?" But, like, honestly, not we know what happens right at the end of the episode, but
Right,
at
so was
this
she, like,
point
trying to put a Band-Aid to show her parents, like, "I'm okay, I'm gonna
yeah,
figure out my shit. I won't tell you what I'm doing just yet."
correct. To me, this
It didn't seem
was
believable, though.
no, I mean, if I were her parents, I would not believe that everything is hunky dory. We're good now.
Yeah, even, like, when Coach gave her a hug, he was, like, having a hard time with it because he's probably like, "Is she, like,
Is
actually
she
okay?"
good? Is she good? Like, things were not great here, and I feel like we didn't do the work because we know they didn't do the work. We just kept telling Julie, you belong there and you need to figure it out."
And who's to say if she went back to Burleson that Derek couldn't, like, come? Like, just because he, like, quit, he knows that she goes to school there now. It's like he
Mhm.
could not that he would, like, stalk her per se, but
Mhm.
he would know where she is and she'd be easily accessible to him
Yeah.
for this to start up again.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that Julie decided, like, "Okay, I'm actually not gonna do that. I'm not
Right.
gonna be anywhere near this entire situation
We're not gonna go
anymore. I'm
there.
done with that."
Yeah. And so she leaves. And in
She
the
makes
car, she calls Derek and she goes, "Hey, I just want to know, like, did you give me that address because you, like, really wanted me to go back to school or because you wanted to get back with me? Like, what was the intentions of all of this?" And he's like, "The latter, which wanted to get back together with me." And
and she's like, "Yeah, that's what I thought."
mhm. So
So, I'm hopeful that she's like, "And let me close the chapter on that." But I'm also like, then therefore she didn't truly have that, like, crazy feelings for him
no,
if
of
she
course
was
she
able
didn't.
to.
Of course she didn't.
And I'm like, "Do you honestly believe that he has these crazy feelings for her?" I feel like he's
No.
just bullshitting
No. And she doesn't believe it
whatever.
either.
Right.
She doesn't believe it either.
Well, and then to also, in him saying that, does he also is he using that as manipulation? Like, "No, I just wanted to get you back," but also it's like, "I just want to clear my conscience."
Probably both.
You
He
know?
sucks.
He just sucks all around, and Julie finally saw it, and I think this time she stayed home, she reflected
Mhm.
and was like, "Yeah, I messed
Mhm.
up, but he is worse than me, and I actually don't care about him the way I thought I did."
Like, you're a piece of
Like,
shit.
right, like, "You're a piece of shit, I don't want anything to do with you.
Mhm.
This is my closure,
Mhm.
and now I'm actually gonna go to somewhere where I feel at home."
So she goes to Matt's. And now
And while was mad at him, I'm over it because I hate Derek so
well,
much with a
I
burning
feel like it's been
passion
so
that
long since we've been so mad at Matt. We don't forget. But also, I mean, we can talk about it with Mike too, so we don't, like, get all of the Julie stuff out. I don't hate it because we love Matt, and Matt is a good dude.
And we love mules.
And we love mules. But Julie, are you just jumping to the next?
Right.
Are we really dealing with?
We're not dealing with the feelings. We're just patching it, putting
or
a
is it a
Band-Aid.
realization of this is safe? It's not school. I can't stay home.
Right. So again, it's like she's just hiding. She's hiding from real life.
Yeah.
And that's not the best situation. While Matt is a great person to try and kind of figure it out with, he might also hold her back. You don't know. She doesn't know. Her life is literally up in the air right now. Like, she has no direction. So the direction she went was towards familiarity and things that didn't stress her out and things that like nurtured her, well, for a time, most of her life.
Yeah.
So it made sense. And I had a feeling something, not that we were going to see Matt, but like we saw like a sign like going towards Chicago or something like that.
Right.
And I was happy to see Matt, obviously.
Right, of course, his sweet smile at the end.
So he was so happy to see her.
Of course.
Oh, I can't wait to see you like next week.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we have Mike joining us.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Welcome back from break. If you're joining us visually and watching on
quite a scene.
Mike used a beautiful background, which you'll just have to go and see. But also he's purple. We don't know why he's purple. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
We're good.
I'd say I'm tickled pink to be on this episode, but I guess I'm tickled purple. I don't know. Is that
that
a saying?
Pinky purple. It's like your face is purple, but the rest of you is pink. It's really funny.
It's so you're like you're texturized.
Yeah, it's like it's
like your AI.
It's freaky.
Maybe I'm not here. Maybe
I know. I don't think you
AI.
are. I know.
I mean, they'd be so good as to know exactly what you would say.
Ooh, he like created this and was like, I can't be there tonight. You go in. Yeah.
Well, so it's funny you say that because ever since I was little, I've always wanted not a twin because then they have to be like an actual person that the government knows about, but I wanted a clone so that I can be like, I don't want to go to school today. Like, can you just go and then tell me what we learned? And so I can just stay in bed or watch the OC all day, you know?
What was that movie with Andy Lawrence
the
on
other
the Disney
me.
Channel?
The other me.
Yeah, and he got cloned.
Yeah. That's a throwback. Wow.
Let's do it.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us this evening to talk about episode 8. This is our second to last patron guest spot.
I was also the second last patron guest spot for Gossip Girl, for 3 Gossip Girls.
So, wow. So you're like destined to do this with our network.
My face, I was so confused. I was like, what?
And I was the first one for Pretty Little Liars, you know.
Oh, I'm so happy for you, Mike. It's so sweet.
So how are you liking season 5?
I really like it. I forgot how I forgot how good it was. Like,
yeah,
I didn't get this far in my second rewatch because I couldn't make it past season 2, but this time along with this lovely podcast, I made it to season 5 and I'm loving it. Definitely some characters I didn't really notice before or really going to the forefront, like Mindy, which we'll touch on later in this episode, but yeah.
So we have questions from other buddies, of course, but we want to start with you. So what questions, comments do you have for us and for this episode?
Now, I know the two of you are famous and you are like royalty here, but have either of you ever been on the news? You're famous to all of us. Okay, you guys are celebrities, but have you ever been on the news? Like Vince was on the news, you know?
Yeah, I was on the news.
You were?
I was on the news like when my kick line did the marching band festival at Hofstra University. We were on the news and I was like interviewed with a bunch of other girls.
You had like a Friday Night Lights moment.
I did. I mean, I don't remember what I said.
You were like, go team.
Because you guys were also on the radio a couple of months ago on that radio station.
We were on Radio Kingston.
So. Yeah, with Blake, All American Ruins. Check out his podcast.
I feel like there was another time, but it's escaping me.
Yeah, I mean, I was on the radio because I won Backstreet Boy tickets. But then it wasn't for me. It was for my friend.
Yeah, because Michelle was like anti. She's like, no.
I don't like Backstreet Boys.
I don't like Backstreet Boys.
God, I'm such a shit. Have you ever been on the news, Mike?
No, I don't like. Okay, so or this is gonna be a little side tangent, but I know I'm like my personality is like big and everything, and you would think I'm someone who like likes the spotlight and like the news, but I only like the spotlight in front of my friends, like people I know. I don't like strangers knowing me. I hated people singing happy birthday to me like in public. Like, no, I'm so happy my birthday is in the summer because it was never on the announcements in school. People didn't decorate my locker, and I was happy because I don't like that. Like, it's different if like my friends and family give me attention, but I don't like strangers knowing. So no.
Yeah,
totally.
It's the worst when they're like sing happy birthday at like a restaurant and they come. It's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
Even like at home, I'm like, you guys don't have to sing.
I haven't been sung to in years.
I just don't like it. It's just not necessary.
No.
Nobody likes to actually sing the song.
No.
They just can't. They just be there to celebrate.
Yeah. Yeah. Gross.
I don't like it. If either of you, so if you were in high school, if either of you got a scholarship or a full ride to any post-secondary school, where would you want to go? Like anywhere in the world.
Whoa.
Yeah. If you got,
I have no idea. I guess I really don't.
I'm surprised, Michelle. I thought your answer would have came like that, and I thought it would have.
I mean, maybe like UCLA.
I was also thinking UCLA.
I would go for television.
I would have said Brown.
Brown. Yeah.
I was thinking UCLA. I was like anywhere in like California, maybe.
Yeah. Probably that.
Cool. Or like, I don't know, maybe some like, I mean, NYU would be fun, like to be in the city or something.
Mm-hmm.
Just thinking about like our like shows.
Yeah, right.
Like, where did they go?
Not Burleson. That's
definitely not Burleson. Definitely, I can't even say Burleson.
Burleson. Is that even a real school?
I don't think so, right?
No. Upon research,
what a name to choose for a fake school.
Yeah.
What do you think their mascot is?
A beaver.
I was gonna be like a bear.
The Burleson Bears.
Burleson Bears.
Like, it'd have to be Texas.
Oh.
I don't know. What do you think?
What like armadillo.
There you go. The Burleson Armadillo. That's like, you cannot say that.
Burleson Armadillo. That's like really a tongue twister.
Yeah.
And then Liss, do you think Mules is back? Like, are we
a lot of that's great that you asked that, because a lot of our patrons want to know that.
I am going to say, in my heart, I feel as though I just like spewed it out when we were done. I was like, so we do have an endgame couple and it's Mules. Like, that was just my thought. I was like, we had to have had one. What was I thinking this whole time? They're totally endgame. So that's just going to be I'm just going to like ride that for now.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Cool.
I forgive. And
then final question or comment. What did you guys think of Coach at the start with when he busted the tailgate the tail light?
So sexy.
Like, would you like it. You support it? Like
support
1000%.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think I've ever hated a character on the show more than I hate Derek. Is there anyone else that I hate? Well, the McCoys.
Yeah, but Derek
honestly takes the cake.
Yeah. How are you feeling, Mike, with this whole Julie storyline with Derek?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know why we have to go there. Like, I know. So late in the game.
Yeah.
Like, we're so far.
So did you think, so the ending, this was actually one of the things I wrote down, but I can't find. Oh yeah. So the ending, when Julie turned the car around and she called Derek. So I interpreted as her calling and asking him, did you come back for me or to bring me to school? And he said he came back for her. I interpreted as Julie turning around because she is realizing, did she go home because of what happened or because she doesn't think she belongs at Burleson or whatever it's called? Like, she belongs, which is why she went to Matt. Like, she kind of thinks like the thing that happened actually brought her more towards Matt. Like, that's why she really left school. That's how I interpreted it.
Do you think that whole time she was ready to go and see Matt when she just made her decision, or like when he said, I came back for you, then she was like, okay, I'm definitely turning in the opposite direction? Like, when did she make the conscious decision that she was going to go see Matt?
I think she knew before the call because she's like, I knew you were going to say that. So I think like the call just supported her decision and made her believe like, yes, this is where I should be with Matt, which is why. But how far is the drive from Texas to Chicago? Like it seemed like she made it there in like the same day. Super quick.
I know. I thought that was a little unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. Michelle and I felt like that when she went to her parents and was like, I'm going back to school. We were like, that's like a really weird turn of events. And not that we couldn't see it coming, but the way she presented herself, like, I'm over it and I'm going to go back. Not realizing that she was already I think she made her decision. It was like, yeah, I'm just going to like pretend like I'm going back to kind of figure things out until I'm ready to tell you that I'm actually not going back there.
Yeah.
And that when he said that he wanted her back, I feel like it was such bullshit. Like he said it, but he didn't actually mean it. Like he just said that to like hold on to something and make her feel like everything was okay and like, she's gonna go back to school and it's fine. But even though he's like full of shit and he's really guilty.
Well, why would he even tell her that he's getting a divorce if like that? Like, why do you have to tell her that? And what balls does he have to show up to her house with her parents there? Like,
what did he think was going to happen? She
like, this is Texas. Parents. Like, guns are around in Texas. So like, true. You don't like, I'm sorry, but you don't mess around.
Nope.
Yeah. And I think he's just spiraling as well. Like, he's losing everything. He's getting a divorce, but also, I don't know. Do you think it would have been, I mean, I don't think we're meant to believe his feelings for Julie, but would have been more believable if he doesn't have this record of fooling around with students.
Right. Yeah. Right. It would have been more believable. Like she was the one, even though it was so quick. Like everything was so quick that there was no way you could believe that this is like end game like everything this was meant to be. We had a connection. When his wife was like, no, he literally did this before.
Right. She was just the Becky of that year. Or like not Becky, like
Becky, like a normal, completely
like Stacy of that year or whatever.
Disregarded everything he said. Nothing was truthful after that. After his wife was like, no, actually he's full of shit.
Yeah.
So no.
And then Liss, you just kind of said that like Julie not going back. So do you think she's not going back to school? Like she's with Matt the rest of the...
she might go to school.
The Bettys want to know. Mike is coming at it. He's representing the Bettys.
I think she'll go to another type of, I don't know if it will be school. Maybe it will be like a trade school or something like where I don't think she's going back to Burleson like ever again. We're not doing this. We're so late in the show. We're so close to the end that we are really going to, has to be a sum up for her as a character. And obviously we know Burleson was not it. So I don't know if she'll stay in Chicago. Maybe she will. I mean, she's so young to like just drop everything and like move in with a boyfriend who, you're 19 years old. Like that's so young to be living with your significant other.
She could do that for a year and still be young enough and go to college and do all the things. If
she could absolutely.
But then like, what would you do though? Like it'd be weird because Matt's like doing his thing. So then what are you kind of doing? And then it's like, then they might like fight, like you're not pulling your weight around, then that might cause like more conflict.
Right.
So
maybe she'll stay local to him, but hopefully they won't like live together and she'll just kind of figure out what her next move is and maybe they'll go back together. But I don't think she's going back to Burleson. And I don't know honestly if she's going to go back to school at all. I think she's going to figure out something that's more meaningful to her. Maybe Habitat for Me. I feel like, why did we have to bring that up if we're not going to go back to it?
Yeah.
I could just be like harping on this thing until
I don't remember. Mike, do you remember?
No, but
what happens with Julie?
Remember when you told Michelle during Gossip Girl to not like hold on to stuff? So maybe you shouldn't maybe you should take your own advice and not hold on to, because it might just be something completely random. I don't remember though.
It could be true.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Yeah.
I watched next week's episode and that's as far as...
Same. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else, Mike?
There was a deleted scene, just one. It was Coach reading recruiting rules as Vince was like kind of doing like crawling like / lunges on the field. And he's like, a recruiter will not, and listing all the rules out. And then he said that his grandfather, Coach said his grandfather always told him, there's a moment in every man's life when a door opens and the future comes in, and you know what, there are a lot of doors. You better choose the right door. And then the scene ends.
Yeah, so he's telling him, like, this is all the guidelines. You guys are not doing it right, and there are going to be consequences.
Yeah.
Nope.
No. Lisa, she says she's a newbie. So we are almost done with this season. Will we see the return of any of our other originals?
Yes.
I expect we will see Tim get out of jail. And I'd like to see Landry somehow, but don't know how that would happen. Is Tyra coming back or is she gone?
I thought we confirmed.
I confirmed somewhere on the island, and I confirmed that some weren't on the island.
And then do you think it's going to be like what they did with Lila at the thing? Like it's just music playing silent and the person's just there? Or you just see them in like a montage?
Liz wants her happy last episode.
I want that whole thing.
And you've said that, but I wanted to ask this particular question now because do you still feel that's happening? Because we have sprinkled in Jason Street. We sprinkled in Matt now. We're not done with Matt. But do you think we'll have sprinkling?
I know we're not done with Matt. You want to know why? Because he's on the season 5 cover.
Jeez, she's so spicy.
But he's not in the credits of.
No, but he has a fucking portrait on the front of the DVD covers. Okay. Why would you do that? It's whatever. However,
so do you think...
I'm beginning to think that maybe we will just do the sprinkles and I won't have a collective, unfortunately for me.
Yeah.
But I would foresee in the final episode Julie and Matt, Coach and Tammy, Tim and Billy, Mindy, the babes. I would love to see Landry, obviously. Tyra, obviously. I don't know.
How cool would it have been if Julie went to Tyra's? Instead of Matt.
That would have been so much better.
Or what if she went to, who was her friend in the...
Lois.
What if she went to Lois's?
Poor Lois.
R.I.P. Lois.
R.I.P. Lois.
You had so much potential.
Missed opportunity. She would have been. She was a good friend.
Or what if the Swede came back?
Oh my god, that would have been awful. Weird callback. We all would have been like, "Wait, who is that?"
Yeah. Imagine like his hair is different. I'd be like, "Who is that?
Who is that?
Literally, who is that?" I don't want you to confirm, but I also don't want to get my hopes up about any of that, you know?
There's so many characters gone by and Liz never asks about them. Like, does she want to know if this person's on the island?
You know, as a kid,
she just don't care.
I tell this story about as we were children and my mom would wrap our Hanukkah and Christmas presents and she would, there'd be these large presents and I would have wrapping paper and Shanna would have wrapping paper.
Yeah.
And then my mom, to keep track of the gifts, would write on the bottom what the gift was. She would write on the bottom what the gift was. So my sister and I would climb up because we had that big, huge entertainment piece. We'd climb up and we'd read it and we put it back and we knew what we were getting. And then as an adult, I'm like, please don't tell me what I'm getting. Please, I don't want to know anything. So I just, because I don't want to have expectations.
I don't like surprises. I don't like surprises. I still
I like surprises.
I read the last page of a book and then read backwards or read it forwards. Be like, okay, how did we get to this point? I would Google. I need spoilers. I can't deal with the knowledge being out there in the world and me not knowing it.
Oh wow. I'm so opposite of that. I will not look up anything until I've seen it complete.
No, so when I watched I Am Number 4, I was like, there's more books. I need to know what happens. Tell me all this. I need to know what happens in the next books because they weren't making movies.
No, because the movie was.
No, the movie wasn't good. But the book was good.
Wow. It depends. If I love something or if I'm in it, don't spoil.
Mm-hmm.
For Christmas, you don't have to tell me. If I'm not interested at all, Liz has spoiled Cruel Summer. She filled me in the entire season. I was like, I don't care. Just tell me.
Remember when we were on the train and I told you literally the entire season 4 of You, and she was like, "Oh,
great!" Because I don't know. I really liked You, but I'm like, you know what?
I know she was over it at that point. She honestly thought it was the last season. She's like, "Wait, there's another season."
After she spoils it for me, she's like, "Oh, BT Dub, another one's coming."
Sorry.
I was like,
Remember when someone spoiled who Gossip Girl was for you?
Oh yeah, one of my best friends. Yeah, see that I was.
Yeah, that I would be, just because like you're like potting about it.
Yeah, it
could have been avoided.
I also will be really upset. This is so unrelated. We'll move on. But if someone spoils the OC for Seth.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say who A was.
That's
who
what
A is.
my little baby.
Yeah, no, I would also be upset with that. That's not on my mind yet. But if someone spoils the OC for Seth,
I don't know how you did it in that episode. Yeah.
I know.
Oh, right, because he doesn't know the thing.
He doesn't know anything.
He was like, today he was like, Marissa's not going to grow up to be like Julia. She's going to grow up to be like Kirsten. And I'm like, Seth, do not watch this, by the way, or edit this out. But yeah, I was just like, oh, Seth. But anyways, we'll move on. We digress.
Yeah. Rihanna says, why do the Taylors seem so annoyed that their eldest daughter exists? Coach is being focused on Vince is one thing, but to immediately ask why she is leaving, when she is leaving, doesn't sit right with me. Tammy is 100% laser focused with Epic.
Yeah, they're not focusing on the kid that they have living in their house. They're focusing on other kids.
Yeah,
that's hard.
I know.
And like, it's just gonna get like, it's just gonna be ignored. So therefore, Julie is feeling like she has to kind of like make up for the fact, like, not that she's gonna like want the attention, like this, she's actually utilizing this to her advantage. Like, oh, they're not really like paying attention, so I'm gonna go to Chicago.
I know. Yeah.
And you guys didn't pay attention.
She also asks, with the team and coaches fighting amongst themselves, what do you think that means for the rest of this season? And we'll just tie in. Will wants to know, like, what would you do to make it right if you were Coach Taylor?
Well, the boys don't know that he has potential job offer.
Sure, but like they're fighting.
No, it's really bad.
Inner team fighting is awful, and the coaches are fighting.
I think he needs to have a group circle. Everyone just has to like
group circle,
talk about their feelings and how they feel.
They hold the stick?
Yes, everyone gets the talisman or whatever they hold up.
Or a conch.
Conch, yeah. Yes. And they get to speak their piece without anyone interrupting. And then the next person does it, and everyone gets to say how they feel. And maybe hearing other people's sides will change some thoughts. Like they just need to talk and not yell at each other.
Right.
That's the best way to like not get in trouble, is to like be like, when you say this, it makes me feel like it. And when you just say like, I feel, it's like these little buzzwords. One of my coworkers like makes fun of me because I'm like, no, you just have to answer. You just have to say all these buzzwords in any like meeting or like interview, and they'll be like, oh yes, this person knows like what they're talking about.
Yeah.
You don't. You just buzzwords. I feel.
Right. You want someone to hear how you feel and to be heard. And I hear what you're saying, and this is how I feel. When you did this, this is how it made me feel.
I interpret it this way.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's how you made it come across, but that's how. And then did you see how it could have been like that from my point of view?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is what they need. Yes. A team moment.
Yeah. Will, he has a game for us. F, marry, kill these wet blanket creepy teacher characters.
Oh.
Derek, Friday Night Lights, Dean Hess from the OC, and Nick Chavez, One Trio.
Oh my God, they're all awful. I want to actually gag.
Was Nick that was the teacher, that Brooke.
I had to read that a couple of times. I'm like, who the fuck is Nick Chavez?
Because she was like dating Nick.
Yeah. But Nick
and Chase.
No, but Nick wasn't is it Nick Lachey? Is his name Nick Lachey? Remember, she was dating different, and it was like, oh, it's the year of Nicks or something. She was dating a bunch of Nicks. So, anyways, but no, Nick. I got confused.
Was Nick bad though?
Yeah, he ended up being like an asshole.
Oh,
right.
They
like,
didn't
did
know.
He screw her in the end, like with the grades? Or, I don't remember. Yeah, like
and actually.
Okay, I think
I hate all of them. I literally hate.
I think I'm killing Dean Hess.
Yeah, Dean Hess is awful.
Maybe
you don't want Taylor Townsend's sloppy seconds.
Yeah.
No, I think I'm killing Derek.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like I could probably do Derek.
I was gonna say that too, but like I really don't want to.
The thing is, if we just F him, that's it.
That's
But
it.
you know,
a one-off deal.
Yeah. But marry Nick? I really don't think I
don't
like
want to marry
him.
Nick, and I still think I have to. Dean has.
I think I'd marry.
I guess.
You know what? I think Dean Hess. I don't think you would want to fuck Dean Hess because I feel like he's the one. Like, I actually maybe because I feel like he's like the 1 second and it's over. Like, I feel like he doesn't like because he's overcompensating.
Yes.
How he acts, I think he overcompensates. So if you want a quick, like get in, get out, yeah, literally get in, get out, then that option.
No, then it's like, was it worth it?
Right. So like, I'm not gonna waste.
I'm not gonna waste it at that point. Oh, I hate it. Well, I hate it so much.
I hate
but
this.
I guess I'll just go with what you said.
I think marry Nick.
Yeah. Maybe he matured.
Yeah, maybe
he was very
marry Nick.
Cute.
Fuck Derek. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That was.
I thought he was gonna talk about Julian, not Julian. His name is not Julian. What's his name?
I don't know who you're talking about.
The teacher with Julie in the second season or third season.
Oh, from
what the hell is his name in real life?
Oh, in the show,
Austin Nichols. Thank you. It was on the tip of my tongue. Austin Nichols.
Wasn't bad.
No, I would like to marry him.
If he's an option, but he's not.
He wasn't an option.
Not the option.
And he also definitely wasn't as creepy as any of the other guys.
We can divorce Nick and we'll marry that.
There you go. That's what I want.
There you go.
There we go. Okay. Vic wants to know, who would you visit in college from out of our Betty shows? Who went to college?
Barely any of them.
I'll visit Summer before she gets. I was gonna say
I would go with Summer.
Yeah.
And or Berkeley, Ryan
when he goes to Berkeley.
Yeah.
I'd say Serena, but she didn't go to college.
None of them
went. Nate went the longest, I think, out of everyone.
Yeah, probably Summer.
Yeah, and then out of our Betty shows, who would win a pageant? I mean, Becky did okay.
Yeah.
Veronica.
Yes.
River Pod. Represent.
Represent. I know you had to thread it and on through.
You probably think like she's too good for that though.
Yeah.
I can't think of it.
I can't think of anybody else either. I think Becky is the good choice. Bevan
would be a wonderful so like little whatever. Yeah.
Before we move on to our other segments, Mike, when you first jumped on, you said something about Mindy. Did you want to touch upon Mindy before we move on?
Well, no, because we can get to the. It's like
sure.
It goes to our other segments. Got
it. Okay, so what was your favorite quote in this episode?
So, favorite quote was Mindy. Listen, life is gonna throw a bunch of crap at you, but all you can do is just put it in the past and leave it there. And I thought it was kind of a bit of a reminiscent quote to what Angela said to Tyra, which was also an episode I was on. That was my favorite quote.
Wow.
That was in season 3, episode 11. A hard rain's gonna fall.
Yeah.
And it was kind of similar to like it just how she kind of like said it. I was like, oh, you're like your mom. Like it kind of.
Yeah.
So that was my quote.
I love it. What do you have, Liz?
I have Panthers. They old news, baby. Vince.
I also had a quote from Mindy when she was squeezing Becky's face. You're so cute. I can't stand it.
I love it. I love it.
I really liked that. Coach's Corner. What do you got, Mike?
So, Jalance, shout out Jalance, would have wanted me to say for Coach's Corner would have just been Coach smashing the taillight of Derek's car. But the coaching moment I picked was Mindy and company with Becky after she tells them about what happened between her and Luke about she got pregnant.
Yeah, I love that.
That was really good.
That was so good. What do you have, Liz?
I have Tammy with Epic.
That's who I have.
Yeah. Even though I really like that moment though, Mike.
Yeah.
I had that originally, but Mindy, she just wins me over. I don't know.
I love her.
She's such a great mommy.
Yeah. I know. Unconventional. but we love her.
Absolutely.
And Billy too.
And she like really loves Becky like she is a sister.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's really sweet. Probably, you know what? Her sister is not there. It's like you always forget that Tyra is actually her sister.
I know.
It's like she's completely. We don't even reference her.
I know.
Like, oh, when when Tyra did this, my sister. But like, she doesn't even say anything like that, and it's really upsetting, actually.
I know. MVP and shittiest. Mike, do you have your MVP?
I have like 4 MVPs.
Yes. So once again, Jolante, shout out to my fiance. She wanted to give Coach the MVP, and her blue ribbon was who I gave it to, which was Mindy and her friends.
Love
Nice.
it. I also chose Mindy as my MVP. Who'd you pick?
I have Tammy, Mindy, and Becky.
So I love it, Becky.
Yeah, I just really enjoy Becky a lot this episode.
We have votes for Tammy and Mindy across the board.
Yeah.
Shittiest is where we got like a round table.
Oh, really?
So dead set.
I thought, dead set. Vince.
Vince, who'd you pick?
Derek.
Oh.
I chose Derek. We had 2 for Ornette, 1 for Vince, 1 for Derek. So, like
Derek,
I said, a round table of shit.
I literally see red when I see Derek. It's hard for me not to choose him.
Yeah.
Is he on the island?
Derek?
We confirmed this, right?
He's on the island.
Yeah, okay.
He's low bearing fruit though. Like, so he's already kind of shitty, but like Vince is normally good. Like Vince is normally not shitty, but
I know.
His dad's getting in his head. His dad is rubbing off on him. All the bad qualities of his dad.
I know.
He's showing that to Vince, and Vince is thinking it's okay.
Yeah.
That's unfortunately why I didn't give it to him.
Yeah.
But I understand.
Yeah, as a send off, like Derek, you're.
Who was the other person they said?
Vince, like Mike.
There wasn't another.
And Ornette.
Oh, Ornette. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
In the deleted scene with Vince, you saw the branding and it looks disgusting. Like it's really like sticking out, and I was like, ooh.
You know, I totally forgot about what that was. I was like, does
I know
Michael B. Jordan have a scar? Is literally what I thought, and I was like, oh wait,
I know
that was a whole thing.
I mean, I'm glad we didn't make that disappear.
Yeah, right, because that wouldn't have gone.
No,
that wouldn't have disappeared.
No. All right, our booster of the week. Liss, who's our line booster this week?
It's obvious. I feel like when we have patrons on, how can I not give it to them? You know, like you guys are so important to us. And Mike, purple and all, we really thank you from the bottom of our hearts for joining us and for being with us for, I mean, what, like 4 years?
3. I was an official patron in January of 2020.
Wow,
that's it. It feels like so much longer than that.
But then you were participating
always.
Yeah, with when Let's Talk OC started.
Yeah, I guess that's why it feels like it's been longer.
Yeah. Oh man,
we love you, Mike.
We love you, Mike.
We love our candy and our milk pitcher that we're on visuals. You can see
you're a total Betty.
Mike had given us all Canadian candy and also a milk pitcher. And
which
so we eat the candy every week. And so now we're left just with the milk pitcher. We have to put some milk in it.
No
some
candy.
bagged milk.
No more candy.
Bagged milk.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Best. Okay, so an emoji for this week. I was thinking a crown.
I was thinking a crutch.
I said a crutch as well.
Okay, let's go with crutch because we definitely haven't used crutch before.
Never, ever.
Yeah.
What can you do with that crutch?
What can you do, Mike? Do you want to take it away and tell the people what they can do?
You could put it in a podcast review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. I don't know, say something like, well, if you're looking for support in life, look no further. This podcast will guide you through life. It's the crutch you can rely on. Crutch emoji. Beautiful. Or, you can also just send it in a DM on Instagram or just email it to us at Talking Texas Forever, just so that Liss and Michelle know that you guys are listening. You made it this far in the podcast. They see that they know you guys are listening because they see those numbers they see the downloads going up each week. So they know you're out there. They just want you to say hi, how you found them. If you're a newbie, if you're just tuning in and you're just starting on this episode, season 8, what brought you here? Season 5 episode. What brought you here? Why are you starting at season 5? Is this your favorite season? Let them know. We'll hear from you.
That's a question. Do y'all care that we say those same things every episode?
No, I love it.
Are you sick of it?
I love it.
Are we robots?
No, I love it. And it's a really good way to leaving a review and rating them 5 stars, you're on the Apple Podcast, do it, or Spotify. You can, and it's a good way, and it's a free way to support the network. If you want to support them financially, you can on their Patreon. The links are in the show notes below. But if you don't have the financial needs right now, we get it. Times are tough, but so a good free way to do that is by leaving a 5-star review and or rating it 5 stars and leaving a review. Gets them higher up on the charts, gets them seen, brings more people into our loving network, our little team huddle, our football huddle, so we can all just huddle together.
Wow.
Thank you, Mike.
I think I'm just gonna play that every week. Honestly, I just
it's
like lay back
Coach.
It's
like Coach Mike, and he's given us the spiel we need each week.
That's right.
Yes.
Wow.
Well,
thanks,
and
Mike.
Before we go, obviously I'm here, so we have an ice cream for this episode. So this ice cream flavor fits on so many levels, and I have to try to explain them all. So I chose cookies and cream. Now, when I was little, I used to make my own cookies and cream ice cream by just putting vanilla ice cream and Oreo cookies in a blender, because that's what cookies and cream are. It's Oreo cookies that are broken up into pieces or fractures.
Oh. So excited about that. Look at his face.
Into the ice cream. And why this is fitting is because everyone is a lot of our characters in the episode are starting to fracture and kind of not be what they were. They're not being whole. So you got Vince, his head's being filled by his dad, and he's kind of starting to being a jerk to his teammates, kind of forgetting what it was like. The whole team's kind of fighting. You're even having the coaches are fighting between Billy and I forget the other coach's name.
Crowley.
Yeah. And then you have kind of Becky and Luke. They're kind of fractured. And another reason why I picked cookies and cream is because it's kind of like a nice basic flavor, or like kind of like going back to basics. And that's what we need to have. We need our characters to go back to basic. While they're all fractured apart, we need them to come back together. The show is ending soon. So we had Becky and Luke kind of starting that with Becky writing that note, like, let's kind of start over. So they're starting to come together, and we're hoping that the other characters will follow suit, and maybe Vince will kind of the pressure or the hot air might get out of his head and he might go back. So that's kind of what we need. We need our team or we need our people and our characters kind of return back to normal. And, you have Julie at the end going back to Matt. So, we get our mules coming back together. It's returning back to basics, returning to the core that we love. And that is a basic flavor, cookies and cream ice cream.
Thank you, Mike.
Wow.
Always a length ice cream.
Wow. Yeah. If you're just tuning in and you're like, what the hell was that? Mike is our ice cream episode correspondent since Let's Talk OC days. It's very special.
2018.
Yeah.
Well,
it was season 3. It was season 3.
2019.
Heavy lifting. It was when Ryan and Johnny's cousin went on the road trip.
Yeah.
Sadie.
Remember the bad names.
Oh. Well, Liss.
Well, Michelle.
I'm going to give you the title for next week.
Yeah.
This is episode 9.
9.
Gut check. I can't stand being around your ass anymore, Jess.
Oh, same, Jess.
I know.
Same. She needs to get out of that relationship, at least for now. Like,
we loved it, right? But
we loved it, but it's now toxic because Vince is being swayed in a couple different directions, and like he's not genuinely listening to his girlfriend, and she's concerned, and he really doesn't care that she's concerned because he just wants what he wants. And he's like, oh man, like I want this. Don't you care that I want this?
Yeah.
And she's like, that's not really the point. So I'd like to see her give him a piece of her mind, and maybe he will wake up, and when he does, he's going to fall into the arms of her and Coach, because he's going to realize his dad is no good for him.
Yeah. How do you think Julie's going to do in Chicago with Matt?
I'm so excited for this. Do we actually get to see them next week? Okay, good, because that would really be annoying.
Yes, we do see
them. Yeah. I would really... Wow, look at that. Look at that, Julie Taylor. You're literally from start to finish. She's like the only character besides her parents and Tim that like really went from like 1 to 5. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, it's just
I
me like
I'm like lost.
In like retrospect, like I'm thinking about all of our characters and like how they all go on and graduate, but like Julie, like when I first watched the show, Julie Taylor was not a main character for me.
Yes, she
And
was.
I
You
know,
literally
but
said
she
you
wasn't.
loved her and her entire way your favorite.
Yes.
No, but I don't mean like, but she wasn't on the forefront in my, I don't know. And now I'm like,
she was dating QB1.
I know.
In season 1. Like,
but every time we see her, it's revolving around a guy. No, whatever. I'm a broken record.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm just happy to see that week from start to finish, Julie has like literally been a main player of this whole show.
Yes. Okay.
She is the main character's daughter, so it makes sense. I think
her plots are still revolving around boys, though.
They still are, and it's still because we're going. She like you said, like whoever Vic said, like why couldn't we go to Tyra's dorm? That would have been so much more appealing.
Yep.
While I love Matt, and I think they need to maybe have a chat. I mean, like, what do they
figure it out?
Figure it out. I guess this is her saying like, "Hey, I'm ready to figure it out with you." Like, they're not gonna have that weird moment of like trying to figure out what they're doing. Like, they're already gonna know that they're gonna be together. But even though I'd like to see it, how it would play out, I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah, you'll see.
I'm going.
Will she tell him what like brought her there?
That's a loaded topic. Probably, even though he's just some guy, you know. Yeah. I think that she will decide to put that in the past. I don't know if she'll bring it up. I think she'll maybe just be like, you know what, I'm gonna start fresh. Like Becky's starting fresh. That's what we're gonna do. Gut check,
Turning to basics.
Gut check. Makes me think of like someone's gonna vomit. Or like you have to go with your gut, like what your gut's saying, like that. Okay, that's better. Obviously, than vomit.
It's just a whole episode about vomit. Everyone
gotta go with your gut. So Julie's going with her gut, which led her to Matt. She's going with her gut, saying like, "This is what's right for me," even though I have a little bit of a problem with it.
Okay.
Again, it's like, can we figure it out without being tied to a boy?
Yeah, well, things are complicated.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We have 2 Will's football poetry corners.
Oh my goodness. 2?
Oh, yes, to make up for last, he said there would be 2.
He didn't have to do
there would
that.
be 2 because he still wants his perfect record.
Oh.
Also, Will, welcome back to the United States of America.
Yes, Will, welcome back. He was traveling back to the States last week. So this is for last week's episode. Payback. When a football team feels slighted, it gives them the edge needed to deliver some payback. Luke sparked an absolute thrashing of the Lions by the Panthers and got his personal payback. But after the Lions, unsportsmanlike actions at the end of the game, it looks like the shoe is on the other foot next season.
See, Mike, it's not so easy.
And then this is for this episode, unofficial visit.
I mean, you have to say.
Let's do it. An unofficial visit per the NCAA is one where the recruit. Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
One where the recruit visits campus but does not talk or get offered by the coach, which comes by way letter of interest and an offer from the school. The recruit's family always pays for it with no exceptions. Vince has an unofficial visit to Oklahoma Tech where he gets wined and dined before he gets a wink-wink offer and pressure to commit in a week's time, all while missing practice and lying to coach about it. We also, unfortunately, I might add, get an unofficial visit from the biggest wet blanket of the show, Derek. But luckily, we get a third unofficial visit from Julie to our favorite QB, Saracen.
Oh,
that was good, Will. Thank you.
Matt Saracen. He's so sweet and cute.
I know.
Seeing that face, he lit up.
We love him.
Do you think, Liss, that like it's gonna fall through with Vint? Like, do you think these
100%
things are gonna go through, or they're just gonna not? They're gonna.
I wholeheartedly believe that Ornette has fucked this up so badly already that he is letting his kid believe that he has all these opportunities. None of them will pan out. And like I said last week or the week before, he's going to come crying back to Coach and be like, Coach, what did I do? My oats and my dad. He's like, you shouldn't have listened to your dad. You should have listened to me. And fuck you, Ornette. That's how I wholeheartedly believe is going to pan out. Will I think eventually in the end, he's still a junior, so he still has time to be recruited again, and he'll be fine. Him and Luke will probably like be cute and go to the same college or something.
Yeah. Well,
but
Luke is not a junior.
He's a senior.
Luke
but like, I mean, like,
yeah,
they'll still be friends.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I truly believe that's how it's going to go down because Coach is always right. He's always right. He's in the air. God.
And it made me think of in ECA when Amanda Bynes' character is like him, if he wanted him to pass.
I love that movie so much.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Mike. You're a delight as always. We're so happy.
Mike the Delight.
Mike the Delight.
Like
Mike the Delight Vasto.
Delight Asto.
Hey, look who's good with the word now.
Not
me, ever.
Not me, nope. That's
never. But in all seriousness, we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I always enjoy being on here. Like I said, I'm tickled pink or purple just to be here.
So cute.
It's been so funny. And like, honestly, I wasn't really that distracted by it. I thought I kind of like just got used to it.
I kind of really love it. So if you're ever on our show, you have to be pink.
To be purple. Okay.
Pink, purple. Yeah.
It's just so weird.
And then just one last thing before we go. Thank you so much for listening to Talking Texas Forever, a Friday Night Lights podcast. You can email us at talkingtexasforever@gmail.com. If you're interested in seeing what we do with this show and all of our others, head over to Instagram and search Tolo Betty Podcast Network. This has been a Tolo Betty podcast, produced and edited by Michelle Rubenstein and Alyssa Tenio. Music by Anthony Vicora.
Thank you, Mike.